You were sure your girlfriend knew your secret identity, so you were happy to flirt with her both in and out of costume. But today she confessed to cheating on you. With you. She had been pacing for a while. She went back and forth on the patio while he watched TV. To anyone else, it'd be concerning, but to Simon, he didn't pay her much mind. After a good year and a half, he knew she paced while simply thinking about her favorite shows, books, and other unserious matters. He usually left her to it, and was content to do the same today until he caught the glance she threw his way. He muted the TV and raised his brows at her. Chelsea gave him a startled look, as if surprised he noticed her at all. She swallowed, said something to herself that he couldn't quite work out, then opened the sliding door. Simon, sweetie, we need to talk. His heart dropped. He sat up straighter, knowing that those words never meant anything good. Even when they talked about serious things, they usually opened it up with, "Hey, I've been having this issue." Or lately, "I've been feeling like." Before getting into it. But never a "we need to talk." She closed the door and made her way to him, wringing her fingers nervously. "Listen, I don't know how else to say this to you, so I'm just gonna come out with it. I've been seeing someone else for a few months now." He didn't think it was possible, but his heart dropped even further. Stopped beating for a moment, too. "What?" he asked, barely above a whisper. "I didn't even know what was going on until it was too late. He had been flirting with me for a while, but I didn't think he meant it. He's, very different from us. One day, he tried to kiss me, and I told him I had a boyfriend I love, and he laughed, and, well, the next thing I know." Chelsea's crying now. A part of him wants to comfort her, to wipe her tears away, the other part wants to say fuck you. You should be crying. He says, "We don't have to be anything serious," and kisses me. Like, pulls me into a kiss. And I couldn't stop him. Something about him felt so safe and familiar. And I felt myself fall in love. Simon feels his head start to swirl, but not for the reasons it should be. He realizes, with some horror and some humor, that she's talking about him. As the artist Simon Q, he had been dating Chelsea. As the anti-hero Heartstopper, a name he gained after, accidentally, scaring someone to death via teleportation, he had also been dating Chelsea. This whole time, he thought she was in on the joke. Every time she told Heartstopper they should end things because of her human boyfriend, he joked that he didn't have to know. Simon thought it was banter. Or one of those sexual fantasy roleplays couples would do. He couldn't believe every time they held hands, hugged, kissed, fucked, she had been fully committed to being non-committal. Simon's face formed a scowl. He glared at her with an intensity that would have burned if he was Inferno. Simon, please. Say something. I know you must hate me, but... She flinched under his gaze, averting her eyes. Look at me. I want you to look at me, and tell me you don't know who I really am. Chelsea's brows furrowed. She stared at him in confusion, searching his eyes for meaning. What? Simon blinked himself to the other side of the room, and she choked, lurching back, as if air had been knocked out of her lungs. You're? The alarm in her eyes said it all. I thought you figured it out a long time ago. What the fuck is wrong with you? She sputtered unintelligibly for a moment, still processing. She slowly made her way to the couch, sitting down for support as it all sank in. Chelsea gulped, then slowly parted her lips to ask, how? How would I have known? She pulled her knees close to her chest, hugging them with shame deep in her eyes. In February, you told me I'd be better as a hero after we were talking about Heartstopper killing someone. It was an accident, but he secretly classed it as a happy one, considering the guy was an asshole about to get away with some heinous shit that made his blood boil. Chelsea got up abruptly, and began her pacing. He could see her gears turning, but didn't understand why. What else was there to say to that? He thought it was a pretty clear indication that she knew. Simon. That's not what I said, she finally responded. What? I said you'd make a better hero. As in, you'd be better than him. I wasn't trying to tell you what path to take or anything. I just knew, or thought I knew, that you would never kill someone. She sized him up as if it were her right to judge him in this moment. Simon held a finger up. Hey, morality police, that was not on purpose. I think murder is worse than cheating, she deadpanned. Simon sighed deeply. She was technically right. At least she didn't actually cheat, though, knowing she had been thinking she was still hurt. Okay, hey, how about next time you just break up with me the next time you fall in love with some random guy kissing you? He blinked himself back to the couch, feeling exhausted from the conversation. If you think about it, Chelsea said, taking a seat next to him. I really just fell in love with you again. I only liked him cause he reminded me of you. Weren't you just about to break up with me for him? He picked up the remote and unmuted the TV. No. I was just confessing. I was going to dump him. Simon wasn't sure if that made him feel better or worse, all things considered.